Heyo! Welcome back to the deep stuff. I can't be the only one who's like hella snoopy and wants to know all of everybody's business all the time. So I figured why not give you some of my business? Let's get into some personal stuff. Finance edition. So I wanted to give you a run through of my personal story when it comes to student loans. The kind of thing that I wish I would have heard from somebody before I had actually taken them out. I'm going to give you the facts and the figures and the calculations that I came up with when it comes to interest. I don't know how accurate they are, but I sure did my best. I pre-apologize. I did the best I could with the graphics that I have on Keynote on my Mac. And I am not a graphic designer, as you will surely see, but hopefully it can still stay moderately entertaining for you.
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
So here's the story. As a wee young lass, a freshman at BYU Provo, I decided I was going to work and not have to take out any student loans. So my freshman year, I covered the tuition through saving and through working 2 jobs. And then my sophomore year came around. I had made a really, really good friend in my roommate who was an international student. And she asked if I wanted to come visit her family in South Africa over the summer of 2010. And that was awesome and kind of expensive. And that pretty much depleted my tuition reserves for the following semester. So I needed to start taking out student loans. Of course, I checked the box that said I read the fine print, but who does really? I knew that they would accrue interest while I was in school, and I knew that it wouldn't be due until about 6 months after I had stopped doing school. So for my sophomore year, the sum total of my student loans was $6,500. And then my junior year came around, and I worked over the summertime to build up savings for the tuition payment, but I was just short, just a little bit. And since I'd already taken out a student loan before, I thought, why not do it again? That was so much fun the last time. So I took out a second student loan. For both semesters, it ended up being about $7,500. And here is where we pause, dramatic pause, for my mission in the middle. You know, when God comes knocking, you just gotta submit. So I felt the inspiration from the Holy Ghost to quit school for a time and go and serve a mission for 18 months. So my mission goes by. So much talk about Jesus, so much fun with other companions, and here I landed in July of 2013. Back in Provo, not sure if I should continue on with school or not, because I didn't have a specific major picked out. I wanted to be a music major, I didn't get in, and I didn't know what else to do. But lo and behold, I got a job working at the Missionary Training Center, and they require you to be a student while you are teaching. So I enrolled part-time, did a couple of classes that I knew already while I was trying to figure things out. And I auditioned and got into UVU's School of Music in January of 2014. So I began schooling again. I had not saved enough for that first semester's tuition, especially since it was an out-of-state tuition cost. So lo and behold, here comes in student loan number 3 at $5,000, Alex. Took out that loan, didn't look back. Wasn't even sure I knew where my student loans were located in order to pay them off, but knew since I was back in school and enrolled full-time that the interest would stop accruing. And since I had taken that 18-month hiatus, and since I'd already done 2 years worth of college without any specific major, I felt the intense need to finish my major as quickly as I possibly could, which took 3 years, many more student loans later, and here we are at a whopping $29,975 in debt. I pause here to say with a hefty amount of gratitude that my colleges weren't even that expensive. There are way more expensive colleges out there. Like when I started at BYU, it was about $3,000 per semester because my church subsidizes the tuition cost. And then at UVU, it still was also fairly inexpensive. It was about $7,500 per semester if you were an out-of-state student, and then $4,500 per semester if you were in-state. I know that there are a lot of other colleges out there that are way more expensive than that, so I am really grateful that mine were not. And let me just tell you, if you can accrue student loans this fast at those cheap schools, can you imagine Harvard? 6 months after I graduated, I had not, in fact, won the lottery or made a huge break in my career, so I was left to pay $324 per month. One move to Texas later, another job search, and whammo! Here I was in 2020. We all know what happened in 2020. Among all of the shutdowns and all the general mayhem of the pandemic, one very good thing for me came out of that, which is they stopped accruing interest on student loans. On all of them. Every single one. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I had a debt to pay, and the debt was no longer growing larger with each passing minute. Now, you might already have a feel for my political affiliation from watching some of my other videos, but suffice it to say, I think a lot of the measures that were taken during COVID were rather stupid. This one, I will happily declare, was not stupid. Thanks for sticking around on this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it. That little, absurdly detail-oriented part of my brain was highly satisfied from looking up all of this content. So if you're somebody who's thinking about taking out student loans or currently in the process of repaying student loans, I hope this helps you be informed, or I hope this helps you know you're not alone, because student loans can be rough. Very. And I just want to say that for me, as a matter of principle, I think it's very important to pay back student loans because, yes, they come from the government, but who pays the government? All of us, in our taxes. So if I weren't to pay back my student loans, I wouldn't be paying back any of you guys. And that to me is just not right. If you guys are willing to lend the money to invest in my future, it's only right that I pay you back. That's all I'm trying to say. This is Dara, over and out.